What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Welcome to the inaugural edition of DN Roundtable. At least that's what we're calling it right now. This is going to be a new monthly show, monthly series, whatever we want to call it. Where we're going to feature a panel of our writing team or of our Dodgers Nation team here. Plus, there's going to be guests, friends, no family. But there will be people on here. We're going to be talking about your Los Angeles Dodgers. You know most of these people. You should know them all, but we're going to go around the horn. Who's this guy? Tell them about you. Maybe they don't know who you is.
What up, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me at DMAC_LA. It's going to be a big year for Dodger baseball. Opening day is tomorrow. We couldn't be more excited. And we got a lot to get into because lots of hot topics heading into this season. Got to talk about the rotation. Got to talk about this ferocious lineup that could go down as the best Dodgers lineup in history. And also, look, it's a World Series or bust team. This team is all in. They pushed all their Dodger blue chips into the middle of the table. And look, this is a win-now team. A lot of these guys might not even be here next year, so lots to get into. Another exciting season of Dodger baseball is upon us.
Brooke,
I like how Doug just kind of took over. He threw his handle in there. He just got it locked in. I mean, he's locked in for justice, you might say. Guys, my name is Brooke. I'm one of the hosts of the Blue Heaven podcast every Monday night. Be with us. He'll be there, that guy.
I'm usually there, yes. Yeah. That's Gary. Gary is happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be invited. So it's like get to come by and see how everybody's doing. So it's nice to be back, and you guys can tell me what's going on.
He's like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. And I am Clint, of course. I'm the other guy on the Blue Haven show and do a bunch of different things here. But guys, opening day is upon us. We are dropping this just before opening day, and this is where we're all going to either be really smart at the end of the season, or they're going to point back to us, you guys don't know anything about the baseball or whatever.
It's usually that one.
But the excitement is in the air. The Dodgers open the season on the road in Devil's Anus, known as Colorado, and Coors Field. It's a terrible place to open on the road. Second year in a row. You really hate to see that. Then they head to Minnesota for 2 games. I think it's 2 games before coming home to Los Angeles and opening day. So quickly, it seems like the Dodgers are going to be tested on the road. The travel is going to be a bit of a nightmare, we'll say. And again, you're opening in Coors Field. There's probably weather issues at the non-domed Target Field because they really planned that one out there. But what are we hoping to see out of this first week, this first travel, first road trip of the season? I'm going to go to Doug first. Give us some words.
Yeah, I think you said it best. The Devil's Anus, Coors Field. It's like probably pretty much like other than the DMV, right? It's like probably the worst place in the world. No, but look, Coors Field, when it comes down to it, and this Dodger team, they of course opened the season last year at Coors Field. We had the Coors Cat. We had the taken away home run with Cody Bellinger and the confusion on the base pass with Raimel Tapia. Wild things can happen in that circus ballparks. But I think what I'm looking for this team is really just how's the starting rotation going to look. Walker Buehler, he hasn't looked his best in spring. Julio Urias, Clayton Kershaw. I think Clayton Kershaw by far had the best spring, pretty much of anyone, maybe other than Edwin Rios. And I just want to kind of see how this starting rotation looks to start the year, because as a starting rotation, you don't want to start the year at Coors Field. The bullpen, lots of turnover in the bullpen, lots of new names, lots of new faces. Craig Kimbrell, he looked good in his last appearance. Didn't look good in his first one, got rocked in his first taste of spring. But what does Craig Kimbrell say? He says, look, it's all about the adrenaline. The bigger the stakes, the easier it gets for him.
He needs those next levels of seating at a big league ballpark.
And for me, it's like, I used to clown this, but in Dodger blue, it actually looks cool. For some reason, the bird kind of like, it looks cool in Dodger blue.
There's no reason to be doing this. You're a grown-ass man, but,
But yes, what I'm really looking for, I'm looking for, it'd be great to see guys like Cody Bellinger get a couple big hits early, even Gavin Lux, guys that struggled last season, because we know Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, we know that those guys, Freddie Freeman, they're going to be good. They're going to be solid no matter what. But I'm just kind of looking for the guys that struggled last season to get off to a good start. Starting off on the road, you got the Rockies, you got the Twins, but really looking for a strong start for the rotation, and some of these guys just to get off to a right start. Cody Bellinger's the Gavin Lux of the world.
Brooke, what are your thoughts?
Doug hit everything that you could ever possibly imagine going right for them. For me, I'm just looking for the starting pitchers to get a little bit of a break. I very smartly said on the Blue Heaven podcast that they would go more pitchers than less, and they did just that. 16. With that being said, I don't think a pitcher goes beyond 5 innings in this series. A starting pitcher goes beyond 5 innings in this series. I don't think even Clayton Kershaw probably is not pushed past 4. I wouldn't be surprised to see Walker Buehler not push past 4 innings, and that is ideal for me. I don't need these guys hurt. I don't need these guys pushing it. I don't need the thin air of Colorado, cramping them up, hurting their hamstrings. I don't need any of that. Get those bullpen guys in there. Get a couple of names who are not going to be there for a long time, some innings against a really what should be not great Colorado team, and that's a win for me.
Gary, you're a guy who's watched a lot of sports, being longer in the tooth than all of us. You've seen a lot of seasons sometimes getting made here in this first week of any sport campaign. You could also throw it away and write it off. It doesn't mean very much to some. 20 years ago, it didn't mean anything to the Angels. How important is this first week for the Dodgers?
It's important. I mean, my main thing is the theme in the locker room should be, don't be the Lakers. You know, don't put all this talent together
your bulletin
and then
board material.
mess it up. That's what it is. You know, I know, but
I mean, it's a great analogy right now.
yeah, you got all this talent, and the thing that they did it down the street down Fig, and they showed you how to mess it up. You know, so I don't think Freeman's like Russell. You know, not like that. But I'm really actually looking forward to the closing situation, because this is gonna be the first time in five years
I didn't know this.
that I'm not gonna have like a heart attack every ninth inning. Gonna have to crack open every freaking bottle in the house because someone's coming in.
Do you know, how
That's
much,
true. Alcohol sales are going to go down
Yeah.
in Los Angeles.
Do you know
we
how
will
much
have to
Dodger
do-
fans are going to lose it the first time Craig Kimbrell goes?
Yeah, it will. It will.
It's
That's
gonna
what
be
I'm
so
getting
bad.
ready. That's what I'm getting ready for. Is like, what special cocktail mixes Dave gonna get ready?
When
for
Matt
me
Beatty
in
hits a
the next-
walk-off home run against Craig Kimbrell,
Oh,
it's
my
going to be a
goodness.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm ready. My body is ready for that one. My thoughts on it: just stay healthy, and Cody's got to get out to a good start. Segue. Guys, I'm going to call this one. Well, first, there are definitely concerns for this team. Concerns for every team when you're starting a new season. We know the starting pitching. We'll get into that a little bit. But Cody Bellinger is now in year 3 of concern for Los Angeles Dodgers, for Dodgers fans. So the question I have for you guys, or I guess we'll call it a little guessing game here. What does Cody's season look like in 2022? What is the best case scenario and the worst case scenario? Brooke, you lead off.
I'll give you the worst case scenario. It was last year, and that's very realistic. That could happen again. I think that would be really bad. But I mean, you're surrounding him with good hitters. It hurts a little bit less this year. So I think that is the best case scenario. What we saw from him last year was atrocious. It was embarrassing. It was awful. When he was healthy, it was just tough to watch him at the plate, especially with runners in scoring position, especially with games on the line. I think best case scenario, and you're not going to like this one either, best case scenario is he's a 225 hitter with 25 home runs, and that's the best case scenario for him right now, especially looking at him in spring and realizing that if that dude had a paddle, an oar, could not touch the ball right now. So it's not good. He's behind on fastballs. If he's getting beat on fastballs, he's just not going to do anything, because that's historically the thing that he can hit and hits well, and then gets beat with the back foot slider. But now he's just getting beat by fastballs, so that's not a good spot to be in.
Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary, what do you think about Cody? You've watched a lot of Cody over the years now. You've seen his
I
whole
think
career.
last year, that's whole career. I've been just a supporter of him from day one. I think calling the shot in Pittsburgh against your ass, I do.
I still owe you a beer for
Yeah,
that
you
one.
still owe me a beer for that one.
It's like 3 years ago.
But it's mainly just I still believe him, more so because I want to believe in Dave Roberts. I want to believe in his leadership and his management of somebody who is struggling, because let's face it, everybody in life struggles, and you want that person to believe in you. And I want Dave believing in Cody and make it work. That's really odd. It could be anybody, but I just want it to work for Cody. And I think last year when he did hit that home run against Atlanta, that felt good. But I think towards the end of the season, he was starting to get there a little bit. But I think he started because they put him towards the bottom of the order.
Yeah.
Remember most of the season he was up high and then he struggled.
You got to bury him
but
a
once
little
you
bit.
bury him down there, he seemed to be okay, and it might be that best scenario is 225. I don't
take
care.
that. I would take that in a heartbeat from him.
This is the best scenario too, or the best option for them to kind of bury him, with the DH now being full time. It's not as bad to have him in the lineup. Let's say also with an Austin Barnes and a pitcher hitting behind them. He's your 8 or 9 guy, Cody,
right?
And that's okay. And he's still got wheels. He's going to find a way to get on base and just bunt the whole time.
The thing is, he still had a great attitude, even though, look, let's face it, numbers weren't great.
Yeah.
But I just love the attitude, keep chipping away at it, and It happened. It happened for him in Atlanta. You know, he came through. That actually did count. Let's come on, be real about it.
He didn't know
Give
how
him
many
that credit.
games into the season he was. He's like,
Yeah,
done?
yeah.
This thing's almost over?
Yeah, I think it's a potential thing. You know, you guys know how I felt about Lamar Odom back in the day. He's kind of like our Lamar Odom right now. It's like you have all this potential. And it's like, show up, you know? And like
Away
that's
from the
basically it.
Kardashians.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, basically.
Doug, what are your Cody thoughts? What's going to be the best case? What's going to be the worst case for Cody Bellinger 2022? Go.
So I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to Cody Bellinger.
We know you have a lot of thoughts.
I mean, he struck out 18 of 36 at-bats this spring. Couldn't hit sand if he fell off a camel. He's had his issues.
I like that
But
too, yeah.
That's good.
Major League 2.
Ding.
Better than Major League 1. Hot take. No. But also, I mean, if you look at Cody Bellinger, who was the second best player in the postseason for the Dodgers last season? It was Cody Bellinger. At 907 OPS, hit the big hit against the Giants to really get the Dodgers the lead in the Game 5 of the NLDS. He had the belly bomb, saved by the belly home run in Game 3 of the NLCS. But he also struck out 11 times in 34 at-bats in the postseason. So I think when it comes to Cody Bellinger, what does he like to do? He likes to play Call of Duty, right? And what do they say? How do you become a really good Call of Duty player? They say find a weapon you trust. And he needs to find a stance that he trusts. And he needs to have a more mature approach at the plate. And I do think, like you said, the back foot sliders, the high heat, he has his issues. They know how to attack Cody Bellinger. But I also think that, look, the talent's in there somewhere. I mean, this is a guy that's achieved at every level of baseball. The Rookie of the Year is in there. The MVP's in there somewhere.
Little League.
Little League. I mean, Little League famous, right? So I think when it comes to Cody Bellinger, last year, I mean, it was a disaster. Hits 165, a 48 WRC plus. I don't want to tip off. I don't know if we're doing bullet prediction. I don't want to tip off my bullet prediction, but I do think
Not
the
this
best case scenario for Cody Bellinger, best case scenario, I think would be like 260, 30 bombs. 260, 30 bombs. And his defense has gotten a little bit overrated throughout the years.
Well, yeah, we
But-
talked about that on Blue Heaven.
Yeah,
Brought that
yeah.
up, that he took a big dive last year compared to.
He got the broken leg thing.
Yeah, broken leg. He
And shoulder.
slowed it down. Oh,
I would just like to see him take like a comically high choke up on the bat, like real ridiculously high choke up, and just see what happens. You know,
I just want to keep
forget
the
it.
same stance for 1 week.
I'm just saying best case scenario if everything works out. If everything goes right for Cody Bellinger, finds his rhythm at the plate. And look, I mean, I don't know if you guys read that article with Fabian
Can't read.
Ardaya, where he interviewed some of the hitting coaches, and they're like, look, it's his career.
Yeah,
And look,
that was a telling article because even there, it had very much had shades of like, look,
It's not, not my problem.
we've tried. We have tried.
Yeah, and look, they're going to help him along the way, but at the end of the day, Cody Bellinger has to do
He
what
has
he
to
thinks
wanna
is
do it,
right for
yeah.
him. But look, he knows that. Look, this is the other thing I think about too. Last year, the Dodgers, they win 106 games. He has a 48 WRC plus. He's in and out of the lineup the whole entire year, and they
Mostly
still
out.
were third in OPS as an offense. So they can withstand him struggling.
This could be his last year.
Well, if they non-tender him, they're not going to non-tender. I mean, next year, technically he's under club control for 2 more seasons, including this year.
This one too, yeah.
Okay. So it is. I mean, it is third time
That's
to step it up.
Crunch time. It's crunch time.
Let's
for
hope
him.
he gets.
I mean,
You know, the thing is,
we're getting to put up or shut up time for Cody.
Yeah,
for sure.
there's my worst case scenario. Cody Bellinger does not make it through the season on this Dodgers roster.
you guys
They
are
just
forgetting
cut
one
bait.
thing. Dad power.
Hasn't showed up
It
yet.
ain't gonna be there so far. down the street.
Showed up yet.
Okay, lay the prediction. Let's say it. Let's see.
Yeah,
Does he
that's
hit over? Hey, I had one question. Do they rename the Mendoza line to Belly line if he played a full
They
season
don't
and
want
he
to
was
lower
under?
it. They don't want to lower it.
Well, I mean,
Mendoza line's looking pretty nice.
Baseball.
I'll take the Mendoza line.
Oh, they don't change it. Okay, I'll just
Baseball
double
hates
checking.
change so much.
But I mean, let's
Where do I
call it
sign
like
up?
220. Let's just say 230 is the over under.
Best case scenario, we're gonna see 2018 Belly, a 260, 28 homer guy, somebody who looks to get on base more than trying to slug, and that's what they're trying to preach.
Your guys' ceilings for him is high. God.
Okay, how about this? Forget the numbers.
Trust me,
How many
I
games does he
still
play?
think he's finally going to see some time at AAA, but
No.
Here's the good news for him. There's not really an outfielder to take over for him right now. We traded away AJ, so
Kevin Pillar.
no. I would take Cody Bellinger
Yeah,
every day of
I
the
would
week
take
with
Cody.
no
His
bat
bat's
in
really
his hands.
Look, the non-Brandon Gomes Dodgers love Kevin Pillar, but that's enough, Cody. We have plenty of season to talk about Cody, at least until he's, DFA'd.
Jake Lamb.
The other, this move, Mookie to center. Easy peasy. The other big concern, of course, at the outset of the season is starting pitching. It don't look that good. It does not look all that dominating after your Bueller, Kershaw, Julio, whichever order that's going to go. After that, we're big Tony Gonsolin people. He hasn't earned it. He hasn't done the put up and shut up or whatever we want to say. He hasn't earned it. Andrew Heaney, probably not a big leaguer. And there's a bunch of dudes afterwards that we don't really know. Will the pitching be as bad as we all think, or is the Dodger magic streak of finding pitchers going to continue? And Doug, let's go ahead and lead you off on that one.
So, if you had to pick a weakness, it's the starting pitching because of all the question marks, the uncertainty. Clearly, you're not a Heaney head. But, look, I mean, if you look at Andrew Heaney.
Far from it. I do not want to. Wait, what?
I mean, he had, with the Yankees alone as a starter, he had an ERA north of 7. And you can see the peripherals. In the peripherals, you can see why they like him. He has an above-average strikeout rate, a below-average walk rate. Throws that fastball probably too much. The Dodgers, that's what they do. They get their starting pitchers to throw that slider more than any team in all of Major League Baseball. When it comes to Andrew Heaney, it's about keeping the ball in the yard. His home runs per 9, 2.01 last year. That was
29
fifth most.
home runs in 120.
So I think you hit a bomb. We both hit bombs off him last year, I think. Somewhere. I mean, it was crazy, but I think that's a reclamation project that is going to be really. We'll see. It's going to be very telling early on how he looks early in the year. Because look, the reality is Andrew Heaney with the Angels, he struggled. With the Yankees, he struggled. I mean, he just hasn't.
The Dodgers are already trying to bury him by making sure he does not pitch in Colorado. They're babying, they're hiding him, they are worried, and that's why they went out and signed Tyler Anderson, because Heaney was just a dude that was there.
And Tyler Anderson is an innings eater. I mean, he's a guy last season, like, say for 2 starts, pitched at least 5 innings almost every start last season. He's a guy that he's a little more dependable than Andrew Heaney, but if Andrew Heaney, if he works out and he's missing bats and he's getting punch outs.
Like he's weak, he's got to hit the gym.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
But I do think that if you look at last season, they go into last year, you have an embarrassment of pitches, right? You have everyone from Walker Buehler, they signed Trevor Bauer, Julio Urias, Dustin May, David Price. We didn't know what we were going to get from him last year. You mentioned Tony Gonsolin. That to me is the big wild card this year, because Tony Gonsolin, when he's looking right and he's commanding the zone, he's attacking hitters, he can be a very effective pitcher out there for the Dodgers. Yeah. But we also see when it goes bad for Tony Gonsolin, he can get roughed up. So I think that's a big question mark. Last year, he was dealing with that shoulder inflammation, which really hurt his velocity and really just hurt him out there on the mound in general. But when he came back, the velo was right, he was more effective. So I think he has a chance to get it right. And then, look, I mean, who knows what we saw with Bobby Miller, some of these big young guns. Maybe we're going to need a breakthrough performance from a Bobby Miller or a Ryan Pepia. But to me, the way I look at it is, look, Clayton Kershaw, like I said, a really nice spring. The velo still wasn't where you wanted to see ideally, but last season, for the first time, he threw his slider more than he did his fastball. If he has the feel for that slide piece, he's going to be effective out there. But I just think that they have so much invested in this team, from the lineup to the bullpen. This is such an all-in team that they're going to address this one way or another. Yeah. And we have to bring up Trevor Bauer, because I think that if Trevor Bauer gets suspended, they'll get some financial relief from that. And I think they're waiting on that to see how they're going to address that. Andrew Freeman talked about going to the market potentially for another starting pitcher. And kind of my bold prediction is you're going to see 1 of 4 pitchers pitch for the Dodgers this year. It's either going to be Malley, Castillo, Bauer, or Montas. One of those 4 guys will get a start for the Dodgers this year, because this rotation as it stands, I don't think is good enough to win the World Series.
No, absolutely not. Great. That's well said there. Bauer is... I'm pretty sure, my feeling, I said it, I think, in January, my feeling is the Dodgers, or actually I said it in December, the Dodgers were okay letting Max Scherzer walk because they were fully under the assumption that Trevor Bauer was going to be back at some point in 2022. I don't know how MLB is going to be able to suspend him based on what courts have said, and they are going to fight it tooth and nail. I don't want to get a whole lot into this right now, but I feel Trevor Bauer's going to end up back on this team, and then all of a sudden, on paper you have a really, really good pitching staff, but it's at a cost in some way, shape, or form. But that was going to be my big hot take. You, sir?
That was your hot take on that one.
That was my hot take, delivered as lukewarm as you possibly can, because...
I mean, if you're talking about this starting rotation and you're talking about the guys who are currently in it, I look at top 3 and I have zero worries about the top 3. I know people have talked about Clayton Kershaw's health. He seems very healthy to me. I I think they're going to probably have some sort of training wheels or, bumpers up on them, guardrails, whatever you want to call them. I don't necessarily think that they're going to let them go full bore the whole season all the way through, and I think that's for the best.
Ball cane.
For sure. And when you have a bullpen like they have and the depth at the minor league level that they're going to have once this roster goes back down to 26, I mean, you can afford to do stuff like that. So top 3, not worried about it all. I also think when you look at Tony Gonsolin, when he was right, when he was really right, he had his control like perfect, dialed in. He was attacking hitters just like you said. Spring training this year, he came in and looked immediately like he had done something to fix his control issues. Yeah, he got tagged up a little bit in spring training games. Yeah, he got bombs hit off him, whatever. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the fact that he got his control in order, and because of that, I think he's going to be the best number 4 starter in all of baseball this season. I think that Tony Gonsolin there will be no competition for him at number 4. I know they're probably calling Andrew Heaney number 4, but he's not a number 4 anything. He's not a number 4 reliever. He's not a number 4 AAA pitcher. I don't know what you want to call him. He's not. He's going to be the highest paid AAA pitcher this year. I think this one's going to end up having. I don't know.
Who's going to have a better year, him or Clevenger?
Clevenger by far. 100%.
No, sorry. Mike
Tony Gonsolin. Yeah, I get you because I called him
couple of number 4 starters.
Yeah, I called him number 4 starters. Yeah.
You really got to listen to the show.
I do think that Tony is going to step up and be somebody that we need, regardless of whether or not Trevor Bauer is there or not. I think you're going to look at it and you're going to say these 4 going into a playoff rotation, going into a playoff matchup, the way that they can pitch in playoffs, especially like Walker, who really comes alive during the playoffs. And you talk about Julio, who's shown he can really come alive during the playoffs. I think it'll be huge. I think that people have argued this is not a World Series rotation, but the potential of this rotation is a World Series contender, and that's the most important part right now. Add to the fact that I think we'll have the best bullpen in Major League Baseball this year.
Yeah, I mean, how good did Gonsolin look at the game we were at?
He was incredible.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was sharp.
The splitter's there. His fastball seems to be on point.
And his tendency is going to be to serve up homers. That's just if he misses with the splitter change.
That's the name of his game.
Yeah, if he misses with that pitch, it's going to stay up and it's going to get tanked. But you give up solo shots, you're going to be good.
And that's the biggest difference because last year it was like, hey, let me walk 4, 5, 6 guys a game and then give up tanks, and that's a problem.
You're not going to have a good time with that one. Gary, you got any pitching thoughts?
I mean, it's the same thing as what we ended the season with last year, and last year we struggled so hard towards the end.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's scaring me the most. But you guys believe in the bullpen. I need to see Kimbrel a little bit more. I believe in Blake
Trinan?
Blake Hugh Trinan. Yeah. I believe in him. I think he's pretty good. I don't know.
And
it's going to be just feeling it out. Yeah.
And you have so many of the dudes from last year, like Vesia. You have Phil Bickford.
That part of like 5 through 9. I'm cool with that.
Their middle relief core is going to really need to step up for the starting pitching.
I would also add, when you go into a playoff series, you're in a Game 7 situation. You're going to go Walker Buehler. You're going to go Dylan Betances, who is going to be stepped up, and I really feel good about what he could possibly do. Into Tommy Kahnle, into Blake Trinan, into Craig Kimbrel.
Shortens the game.
Holy hell.
The game.
Holy hell.
We got to talk about Walker because Walker is an issue right now. Not an issue, but there's something. You asked me in the beginning of the show, like what has happened, right? This is Kobe taking over the team thing, right? He's coming into the season as the opening day, whatever, the starter, the guy. The pressure of that. And the thing is this, scary enough, looking at him under high pressure situations when like last season, he tried too hard sometimes.
He tries
especially after you take away that stuff.
He's very much a guy who needs to shoulder the load a lot of times. He feels that responsibility as an ace, and
but sometimes as a young guy, sometimes
kind of the guy you want, though.
Yeah, you do.
You want the guy who wants the ball.
What I'm saying is the adjustment.
He admitted he was worried about that ERA title.
Yeah,
and then he has also never
he was in the Cy Young talk
as a human being.
He was in the Cy Young talk, yeah.
But as a non-human.
Look, I think when it comes to Walker Buehler, I think last season, one of 4 pitchers to throw 200 innings, a career high in game starts, led all MLB pitch with 33 starts. I think when it comes to Walker Buehler, I actually like the evolution of his game. Like you said, he likes to be that guy. He said himself, he likes punch outs. He said, that's my thing. But last year, he learned that, look, you just got to go out there and get out. Mm-hmm. So you saw less fastball, a little more cutter.
Especially early in the season.
But early on, and that to me is what it comes down to when it comes to this rotation. That I do agree with you, Brooke, in that this has the potential to be, if they stay healthy, I'll feel better about it. Like when Dave Roberts said, he makes the headlines. Yeah, a lot needs to go right. Health permitting, right? Like when Dave Roberts said that he guarantees the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. What else did he say? If our starting rotation stays healthy. So if Julio Urias, who pitched a career high, over 185 innings last year, year, which doubled his career high in starts with 32 starts. If those guys can stay healthy and be the pitchers they were when they're at their best last season in the postseason, they can be a formidable 1-2 punch that's as good as any starters in the league. But to me, it's just, will they still have gas in the tank late? And I think Walker Buehler, I think that this is a big year for Walker Buehler as far as he proved he can go 200 innings, but last year, his bulletproof postseason resume took a little bit of a hit. ERA almost at 5, but I think that, I think Walker Buehler is still the guy.
He was cooked.
They'll lock it back on him this year. They won't let him do that again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your thing. I mean, I agree. I hope so. That's the thing.
That's why we have so many starting arms in the bullpen.
Right, I was pulling for him for the Cy Young.
Mitch White is going to play up big time this
Especially
year.
like September.
Yes.
Especially like September.
Yeah, I talked to.
And Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson also is another dude. And also Danny Duffy. Whenever he does make his appearance and is able to return.
As long as Tyler Anderson's not pitching against Justin Turner, he's going to be pretty.
Fine, he'll be all right.
Last year was the first time Buehler didn't start off slow.
I'm not very high.
That too.
I mean, put a complete year.
Complete year. He needs that. Last year,
2019
he started off good and then ended like not so well.
Poop.
And poop. So and the years before he started off slow and then ended great,
He called the
163,
shit
right? So I'm just saying like. Buehler needs to learn how to balance it as a leader for the team because it's not just performance-wise.
I mean, look at it this way.
I mean, he knows he needs to step into that role too.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean, late August, he was still the favorite to win the Cy Young. So, I mean, he's trying to win that Cy Young.
Yeah,
You
but
see
then
Max Scherzer
outings, he had such bad outings to like.
Well, he got roughed up. When he gave up the runs against the Giants on the road was kind of the start of that. But I still believe in Buehler. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that would take over him in the league right now. Still.
Yeah. It was a great learning year for Walker, and he's going to take that into 2022, and he could go out and have a better year, or he could flame out by June because he's burnt out again. But we're not hoping for that one. Teams around the league have done what they can this offseason to try to catch up to the Dodgers or be better. I mean, we've seen San Diego very recently make 2 great moves to improve their team. 1, acquiring Shamanaya, and 2, trading away Chris Paddock. That was for you there, guy. Who is, in everybody's opinion here, who is the biggest competition to the Dodgers in the National League, and why? I'm going to lead off with you, Gary.
Wait, I told you, I totally missed it because I drank my beer too loud.
You drank your beer too loud.
And I didn't hear your question.
Which team in the National League is the biggest competitor to
the Giants? I don't give a... forget the Padres. It's about the Giants.
No, not the West. All baseball.
Then it has to be...
NL.
I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to anybody but the West.
Then the Giants.
So just say the Giants, Yeah.
You got the Mets, who spend all of the world's money.
But they're still the Mets.
You
hear that, Jeff? I said it. They're still the
Mets. It's like my friends who only listen to West Coast rap. They don't go to eat. They're like, just Tupac and just the game.
There's other people there.
Yeah. Like, nope.
They're not.
Jay-Z?
Brooke, what are your thoughts?
Originally, I would have said the Mets, but Jacob deGrom has proven time and time again that he cannot keep up with the pace of Clayton Kershaw. So, no disrespect to him. I think deGrom's a really good guy, but he just can't stay healthy. I mean, when he's healthy, he's an elite starter. He'll mow people down, probably put up a sub-1 ERA, but he just can't stay healthy. And it's unfortunate because he's not young anymore. He's old. He's old, Jacob deGrom, and that's going to happen. You also have Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer will not pitch an entire season this year.
He pitched that one game, and then he was like, "I'm good."
Let's go. 43. I'm good.
So if you're asking me who my money is on to give us the biggest run for our money, I'd say it's the Braves, far and away the Braves, and it's going to be a really fun NLCS matchup with us and the Braves.
Yet again. Called by Joe Davis. What are your thoughts?
And John Smoltz.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for just giving different answers just for the sake of shows and stuff, but I'm with you 100%. To me, it's the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
And I think the big wild card for them is Mike Soroka is coming back mid-season. I mean, back-to-back Achilles tears. Can they get some from Mike Soroka? Can he come out and perform for them? Because if he does, Max Fried, he's been solid. Is he a true ace? Not so sure about that.
You don't need to have that true ace.
Yeah.
You can have a bunch of dudes that can get it done. Ian Anderson, Max Fried, and you can get Soroka back.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done that for the last few years without Soroka. You get that into the rotation. Oof.
And they also understand the value.
And they got Kenley.
Yeah, they got Kenley. I mean, it is a bullpen. MLB is increasingly becoming a bullpen game. And with Madsick,
that's why we win.
I mean, with
Will Smith takes Kenley Jansen deep, and the Dodgers take the lead. That was a very good
but I mean, with AJ Minter, Madsick, a lot of the firepower, all those bullpen cogs they have, and
is he still in the league?
And you got Kenley Jansen, who I'm not the biggest believer in Kenley Jansen as far as, I would take Kimbrel over Kenley this year, but I do think that it'll be a good spot for Kenley to go out there because he needs the adrenaline. He needs a big situation. That's a World Series contending team. And also, you got Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back. He is a top 5 to 10 player when he's right. Still just 23 years old. He's an absolute star. So
he hates his nemesis, Freddie Freeman.
Oh, yeah, Freddie Freeman, yeah.
Kenley only does well when there's a contract on the line.
Ozuna, so the offense, look at the Ozzy Albies, you got the Austin Riley's an MVP caliber player at this point. So
Matt Olson was an improvement over Freddie as well.
He had a better season than him last year. He hit 39 bombs.
Were you saying that in November?
Much more of a streaky hitter, though.
But yeah, I think moving forward, I understand why they made the trade for Matt Olson. I think Freddie Freeman is a much better option for the Dodgers. I would take Freddie on the Dodgers more than I would Matt Olson on the Dodgers. But if I'm the Braves, I almost would take Matt Olson on the Braves versus Freddie and having to pay him for how they kind of run their organization. So I think it makes sense.
Both the right moves.
Yeah, both the right moves. For some reason, it's a bad breakup. They're hating on us because he went out. He's now with this hotter chick, the Dodgers, and they're hating on us. But yeah, it's going to be like you said. The storylines. That to me is the Braves Dodgers. There's so many parallels. The early '90s, there was a rivalry there. When you had the Old West, the Dodgers Braves. Now it's a rivalry renewed. They blew the 3-1 lead when we gave them the ATL in 2020, and then they returned the favor this year. I think this is going to be the rubber match in 2021, and I think the Dodgers will prevail for all the reasons that you mentioned too, with the depth and how they're going to treat their starting pitching. They're going to make sure that Walker Buehler and Julio Urias don't run out of gas like they did. We won't see Urias out of the bullpen like we did foolishly in 2021. So I think that, look, the mistakes are fine as long as you learn from them. And I think the Dodgers as an organization, they know what went right and what went wrong last season. I think, we're headed for a Dodgers-Braves 3. And I think it's really a really great rivalry. I think
Part 3, we get to settle it here and now.
The trilogy.
Winner takes all.
But then, Matt Sixon be like, if you won one in a bubble, it doesn't count. And then the cops can be like, "Who are you, sir? Get back with the fans." hey, Tyler, you remember when that
came
happened?
down in a bubble, bro?
The Mets still need to be reckoned with in some way, but they are just such a poorly run organization.
I reckon they're not going to do as well as they think.
They're not going to do as well as they're paid to be.
That's true.
Yeah. So Giants aren't as good this year, but they have a pretty decent.
Giants will be second in the NLS this year.
Oh.
I just trust them. I really do, man.
I trust Farhan with my life.
I was trying to find a way around it, but it's going to be the Braves. That's my answer to the question.
Mets would be so fun.
Wait, didn't they struggle in the first half last year until Acuna Jr.
I'm struggling now.
They had the worst record of any team in the postseason, and they win the World Series.
So it's like,
they were at a point.
They just made a great. They got that trade.
They were at a point at the trade deadline where they're like, we can either sell or we can go for it, and they were like, let's get Jock. Yeah. And it was like, are you going for it?
Yeah, but then Jock's gone. Now it's Acuna Jr. that comes back.
Which is
Freeman is gone, and they got Olsen. Then you got Kenley in there.
You got Marcelo Zuna's
destroy the morale,
back in there.
or whatever. We'll see. I just don't think so. I think we'll mark the bets. And then we'll see.
I think if the Brewers had a better offense and Christian Yelich wasn't a shadow of his old self, I think that Brewers would be a potential name you could talk about with their.
Do you know he's in the 10th season in the league?
Yelich?
He put
honestly,
year 10 up on his Twitter. I was like, holy hell, dude.
Oh my god. Let's check into retirement homes already. Time's going by way too fast. But yeah, I think the Mets are really. Mets would be so much fun. That'd be great for the game. But it's just about
really good.
DeGrom staying healthy, Scherzer.
But you can't.
Tyone. Carrasco has that as issues. I think that. I like the signing of Starling Marte.
They have a bunch of names.
I really do.
They're not going to be able to piece that together.
Yeah.
But
it's not a powerhouse of a division, No,
absolutely not.
So,
but we'll talk more about that.
Break the desk.
So this is your quick hitters segment. It's say a word, say a name, pass it along. Do the Dodgers win the National League West in 2022? Doug, yes or no?
yes.
All right, Brooke.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm a yes or a no.
Really?
Because I just like to be edgy.
Just be no then, you loser.
All right, I'm going to say no because why not? How many games will the Dodgers win in 2022?
I'm going to go 107 wins.
All right. Even with that
Just so I can root all year. No, I'll tell you if I can. No, this is a quick round. But 107. I have an explanation why in a different segment if you want.
I think I said 104 on the reel.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm just gonna stick with that. I don't remember
How
anything
many
I say.
wins you thinking?
I'm a liar.
I like 108.
I said 102.
0.7.
The wave. I had said 102 on the reel, and then I realized, oh man, they have really bad starting pitching. But also I realized that the Diamondbacks and the Rockies are still in the division.
And we played them a lot.
And they bad. So
They were like
102.
3 and
Let's
35
make it
against the
happen.
Giants.
Who
and
wins
Dodgers.
the World Series this year? Doug.
I think this year, the Los Angeles Dodgers, they win the World
Damn,
Series.
Homer.
I think it validates 2020. I think it validates 2017. I think it validates what they've done, almost a decade of dominance. And I think that this is the year that it's almost like kind of the FU championship. We lost Corey Seager, we'll sign Freddie Freeman. We lost Kenley Jansen, we'll trade for Craig Kimbrell. They use the resource, they use the prospect capital, and I think this year they realize that it is almost a last dance. We might not see Clayton Kershaw, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, a lot of these cast of characters that have made up this core. But I think, look, you got to bet on the Dodgers. Of course, a little biased, I might be, but I do think that I do trust that, and to me, my big thing is I really do trust the fact that they're going to address this starting rotation earlier than later. They're not going to wait long and allow this. We're not going to see them lose 15 of 20 games like we saw stretch last season. But I got the Dodgers winning it all against the Houston Astros in 5 games. And I'm willing that because that's going to be the most satisfying gentleman's sweep in baseball history. And you know what's kind of weird because that means I got to basically root for the Astros. Like, just so my pick is okay.
You don't have to do that.
I don't have to? Okay. Okay.
Right.
So that's what I got. I got Dodgers over the Astros in 5.
All right.
I'm going to go non-homer, and I'm just going to say that the Dodgers match up with the Blue Jays this World Series.
No, that's
I'm
not
not going
the
to tell you
question.
who wins. I'm not going to tell you who wins.
So
I'm not going to tell you who wins.
I'll tell you who wins.
But they're going to win
Dodgers
6
gonna win.
games.
They're
I
gonna
really like the Blue Jays,
They're going to
too.
beat my boy
Yeah,
Tommy
Blue Jays.
Ross
I really like
Stripling
them. I like all their players.
He's not going to be on the Blue Jays by the end of the year. Yeah, he's going to get traded for sure.
back to LA. No.
I would take that trade right now. I would 100%
Yeah,
take that
I
trade.
would love to have Strip back.
I would
We
love
need
to
him
have
back
him
right
next
away.
year.
How many wins? I mean, wait, what
I already said that.
Yeah, who wins the World Series?
Dodgers over the Red Sox.
Ooh.
I was going to say Toronto, but now I'm going to
We
change
could
it.
watch Kike cry.
Red Sox they're a postseason team.
They are.
If
Does he
they
cry?
think they have a
Funny
chance,
face?
they'll make some moves. I like that.
Greedy players.
Yeah.
Greedy players.
And we can
I like
avenge that 2018.
Yeah.
When they all cheated.
The Dodgers win the World Series, walk-off home run to win it all by, what's his name, Jake Lamb. Hell yeah, let's go, baby.
Jake
That's how we
Lamb.
do it.
Rick move.
I have a $100 bill just waiting for you.
All right, finally. I'm not going to pay, though, if it doesn't happen.
fine.
Yeah. How many Micheladas will Brooke have at Dodger Stadium this year? Over, under on 15. Gary, go.
Keep in mind, I am going as
Yeah, I know.
fan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, over for sure. Because you're going to get one every time you go.
As a reporter, respected journalist,
He can't really
Third
bring it into
inning,
the
just
locker
go get a
room.
little
just a
break, you know? Yeah. You got to be professional.
Over, under 15. You taking the
I'm
over?
thinking over for sure, because I'd have 15 if I was him. For sure.
Doug, how many Mitchies do you think this guy's going to have?
So yeah, like we said, there was that tweet. This is the Brooks Smith beat writer era. So I do think he's going to be respectable. He'll only have like one a game when he's going there professionally, but I do think there'll be one of those games where he goes on a Saturday, he cuts loose, you see him twerking, has like 7. So I do think
Ballet Brooke.
that will add up quick. So I do take the over there, and I also want to take this time to remind Clint that you still owe me
owe you
a
a
Michelada
Michelada.
for the golf thing.
It's going to happen.
All right, cool.
It's going to happen. But I don't know if we're going to do that.
Give me a homemade one.
The hell, dog.
And go to your pool.
Mrs. FRG will make you. She makes good Mitchies, I hear. I'm not a Michelada.
She did
kind of
make me
guy.
one. It was really good.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I'm going to take the under. I don't think you're going to be respectable because you're still the same dirtbag you were.
With or without the hair.
If I have to buy him 5 the time we go out, then I'm going to win the bet.
No, you don't get
On the same
Is there a
day.
bet? There's a bet.
What do they call that?
This is just prediction.
When you like interfere, tampering.
Yeah, you're tampering, man.
Tampering.
Collusion.
Was there any rules laid out?
There's no rule board.
Are you going to refuse 5 Micheladas?
I'm not going to refuse
No,
any
there you
Michelada
go.
spot for me.
What if though you are in the clubhouse?
Oh.
Yeah, like
I'll be the dad with a coffee cup full of Michelada.
But there's
Just kidding, Juan.
There's round table 1. I think are you going over or under? What are you taking? 15.
What was it? Was that 15?
He can't bet because he's the one.
No, but I'm just wondering.
If I had to predict the way things are going to shape out this year, how many games I will go to
As a fan.
respected journalist versus a fan, I think it's going to be under. I don't think it's going to be.
Oh, we're going to more games then.
Well, yeah,
Plus, he's more of a
Is it
tall-
non-respected?
But you're more of a beer dude,
He's more of
right?
a tall can guy anyway.
Yeah.
I start Michelada and then go tall can, and then end up Michelada, and then someone
And
gives
then
me a ride
whatever.
home.
Then
And then I sleep in their pergola, and then
We need to go more games this
I
year. for
sober you
sure.
up with shots and more beers. But guys, that was
I
episode
just sneak in some
1
Capri Suns.
of a DN Roundtable. We hope you enjoyed in some way. If you have any suggestions on what you want to see with the show, or we can tighten it up or do better, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, subscribe to all the things. Think blue, bleed blue, and we out.
Think blue, bleed blue. And we out.